Welcome everyone to this very special webinar that we've been looking forward to for a while now. We have a very special guest with the name of Shatrunjay Pratap. He is a fantastic person. He is the founder of Bera Safari Lodge, a passionate conservationist. He is a fantastic filmmaker. He has done stuff for National Geographic, Wildcats, Big Cat Kingdom, Masters of the Skies. He's done so much for conservation with regards to his area and the protection of the leopards that's so special in his area. Thank you, Shatrunjay, for taking this time to do this.
My pleasure, Nico. It's my pleasure.
The one question I think comes to my mind specifically is, how did you find Bera Safari Lodge? What is the story behind it? What makes this destination so unique?
Nico, it all started about 12 years back. I've basically done my certification in winemaking from UC Davis, California. And while I was working for the wine industry, we have a farm close by, which is about 18 kilometers from Bera. And in my annual leaves, I used to come to Bera to see leopards. That time, it was not, nobody knew about Bera or JAWAI region. So it was just one evening while photographing leopards, I heard a loud blast. I inquired what's going on, and the locals informed me that the government has allotted some mines. All the habitat you see, these are all granite rocks. And later on, after inquiring, I came to know that the government has allotted 144 mines and nobody was doing anything about it. So that's the time I quit my corporate career, and with the help of the forest department and locals, took on the mining. And finally, we managed to get the mining cancelled. And so once the mining was cancelled, it was a safe haven for the leopards. And that's how we all started. I built a small lodge there. And that's how things started in Bera.
That's a massive jump from corporate to conservationist.
Yes, from winemaking to chasing leopards now.
I don't know if the one's much safer than the other one, but I mean, that's fantastic though. I mean, you see on a daily basis phenomenal stories happening around you. Just with regards to something that has manifested this love for you and the leopards, is there any interesting stories recently that's really stood out for you in terms of
recent, Nico, just on the hill behind the lodge, there is a female known as Zia. She's given birth to 2 cubs. So it's just walking distance from the lodge. So that's something exciting that I'm filming, camera trapping, seeing what's happening inside the caves, getting all the documentation done. So that's something very exciting what's going on right now.
That's fantastic. And just in terms of those trap cameras that you put up, is this only for your pure photography?
At the moment, I'm collecting data bank, which would be further used either by National Geographic or BBC or Disney. Depends on the futures projects coming in. But yes, it's always good to know what's happening inside. You are regularly monitoring the animal. You're studying their behavior, because a lot of times we can see what's happening outside, but what's happening inside, we don't know. So over the years, we've collected a lot of data, which helps me understand the animal behavior, the movement patterns, the cubs, how they are behaving. So overall, it's a good data bank to collect.
I can only imagine. In terms of your lodge itself, it's known as the leopard's last refuge. Now, how did that analogy come to know? Well, how did you come to that analogy to have it known as a last refuge? And I mean, in terms of Bera itself, you said about the winemaking, but specifically the location that you've chosen for the lodge. How did you come to this decision?
Nico, I wanted something very exclusive. So while fighting mining, I picked up this piece of land. It has its own privacy. There is a small stream which flows in the monsoon. And there's a cave also on the other end on the hill. So there is regular leopard movement in this land. And just behind the lodge, like I mentioned, there's this hill known as the Liloda, which has been the mecca of leopards. In the olden days, all the Maharajas, all the royal families had shot leopards there. In modern times, all the best of cameramans and photographers have filmed and photographed leopards. So even while sitting at the lodge, a lot of times you can see the leopards right over that hill.
Okay, well, that's fantastic. I mean, so you're literally sitting on your little stoop there and you're looking over and seeing the leopards on the hills walking.
Yes, a lot of time, and especially in winters when they come out for the winter sun. Our trackers are there in the field. As soon as we get the message the leopard is out or any alarm calls, we get our binocular scopes out, and there you can see the leopard straight from your window.
But I mean, in that kind of scenario, I think you must feel so connected to the environment and to nature. And I mean, it must be overwhelming at times as well.
I think, Nico, I'm blessed. I mean, every morning you wake up, you're having your morning tea. If you're not on a safari round, you're hearing those alarm calls, the peacocks, the monkeys, and you exactly know where what's happening. And then you're trying to explain your guest, okay, now this is happening, that is happening. So it is exciting every day, every day.
Oh, that's phenomenal. And in terms of the leopards in the area, because I know you've gone through this whole thing for their conservation, just out of interest, like how many leopards are currently in the Jawai area?
There are roughly about anywhere between 40 to 45 leopards in the area. And at the moment, the area that we are operating right now in, let's say about 4 or maximum 5 square kilometers, there are about 7 to 8 leopards in that area, including the
Oh,
cubs.
that's a lot for an area. And in terms of because there's so many, is the leopard's lifespan shorter than as to what it would be expected for somewhere like in Africa?
What I think, Nico, in our area is they breed fast and they die young because the population is so high. The interfights among leopards is also very high.
Well, I can imagine because that one video that you shared with me that we'll put into this recording, that leopard that entered the cave, he looked like he was in the fight of his life recently with the ear that
He,
was torn off and face
he,
that was mauled.
he's now no more. We used to call him cut ear. If you see the video closely, one of his ear is cut during a fight. So
Yeah.
that's why I call him cut ear.
And was he a dominant male in the area?
Dominant male of the area. Now, one more leopard has come and taken over his territory.
Okay. And just out of curiosity sake, how old was Katya?
Katya was about, I think he lived long compared to the other leopards. He was about 8 years old.
And the average lifespan, I know you said it's breed fast, die young. So what more or less is the age span of these leopards?
You see, Nico, what happens in our Jawai area is it basically it's one of the best breeding grounds for leopards. Whenever the animals mate, the cubs are born. There has not been any study done where the dispersal happens. Where does the leopards move out? So it's just the dominant leopards that would stay in. The new leopards would move out and form their different territories, which nobody knows where do they move. I would say average lifespan would be about 5 to 6 years.
And then, so in terms of you saying that they moved to different areas, is that completely away from Jawai, or as you said, is not known at this point in time?
You see, it is completely unknown. Nobody knows. There are other forests also close by. Either they head out that direction or they head out towards there is one more century close by. So nobody knows. Generally, the dispersal happens in winter season when all the farmlands, all the crops are up. So the leopard take the cover of those crops and move out,
Okay.
and nobody knows where do they head. Till now, the I'm still trying to figure out.
Well, I mean, that could make for a very interesting story if you do find it out, though.
That's something that I'm on right now.
Well, that's fantastic. I mean, that's just going to keep you busier as what you would be in terms of your
Yeah,
business.
yes.
So, and then Shatrunjay, let's ask one of the serious questions right now, because I mean, you are a leopard destination. In terms of your daily um, schedules, let's say a typical day at Bera for leopard photography, what would that kind of look like so we can give the people an idea?
You see, what happens, Nico, is we leopards are nocturnal animals. Since this is a human habitated landscape, leopards are not active during the daytime here. But in winters, what happens is morning you do your morning safari. You start it when it's dark in the morning around 6:30, and you're back by let's say 9:30. And then you are at leisure during the daytime. Either time people go for their birding or crocodile or cultural photography. But in winters, a lot of times these leopards come out of the cave to for the winter sun. So our
Mm.
trackers are there in the field. We ask our guests in the morning only if anybody wishes to. Once we get the news if the leopard is out, if anybody wishes to go during the daytime, also they go. Otherwise, then again around 3:30 we start our safaris in the evening.
Okay, so it's either 2 sessions or it could be a full day, dependent on the activity, etc.
Right, right.
Okay, that's fantastic. And then let's ask another question in with regards to your daily activities. Is it purely vehicle based, or do you guys get out of the vehicles and walk a bit as well? It suppose it depends on the safety of the guests as
You
well.
see, in most of the places, it's vehicle based, but there are other places also where you can be on your foot at a safe distance. Since the leopard are always on top of the hill, you're on the ground. So yes, you can be on your foot also in certain areas.
And then, I mean, it's really a unique destination in the sense that you have this diversity in the terrain from rocky granite to lush green fields. Can you tell the guys a little bit more about the area, the landscapes, what to expect?
So basically, this entire region, this mountain range is known as the Aravalli Mountain Range. This is the world's oldest mountain range,
Oh,
older than
wow.
the Himalayas, older than the Mount Everest also. So all these are basically volcanic rocks, millions of years back when the lava was formed, and when it cooled, it formed those cracks and those hollows, which are the home to the leopards. So it's basically granite, rocky, arid landscape.
Oh, I mean, but that makes let's just talk from a pure photographer's point of view. Beautiful, clean backgrounds and foregrounds
Pure
as
clean background, good silhouettes for the leopard photography, good backgrounds. I mean, good light also. Morning, evening lights are very good on those rocks. And especially in winters, if the leopard is on the top of the hill, the skies are also very clear. So, I mean,
well.
it's a habitat.
That just makes for an absolutely phenomenal silhouette, as you said, with this clean terrain. I can only imagine. I mean, I'm jealous for the guys who are going to join you next year. I think I need to work harder to get a trip myself up there. But let's talk about it. So it is leopard's paradise. Let's be honest. But
Yeah.
surely on the terrain and the JAWAI Dam that's close by, there must be a lot of diversity with regards to other mammal species, birds, reptiles. Can you
Yes,
elaborate a little bit more on that?
Nico, have about more than 150 species of birds in the Javine Dam. And these are all, most of them are migratory species. They all come in winters. So they start coming in by, let's say, November end, and they start moving out by March. And there are a lot of birds like the sarus is there, the flamingos are there. Then there are a lot of crocodiles also in the dam. It's got a very good population of crocodiles. And apart from leopards, there are hyenas here, there are sloth bears here. In fact, I put a camera trap to my surprise. We got a nice footage of a honey badger also here.
Oh wow,
So
that's unexpected.
yeah, so there are a lot of wildlife. Flora and fauna is very good here.
That's fantastic. And then, I mean, you just referred to the winter season. Now, let's talk about the various seasons that you have. So, winter, you said that the leopards come out for the sun. You have your migratory birds. Let's cover the various seasons a little bit, just in case guys do want to go at another stage and experience what you have to offer.
The best time here to photograph is from October till mid-April.
Mhm.
After that, in summers, it gets really hot. And since being all this area is granite rocks, the rocks
Mm.
also get heated up. So the animal movement is very late in the evening once it's cooler. And in the morning also, they climb up early up because again of the temperatures. And
Yeah.
the monsoon, again, since it's an arid landscape, the vegetation on the hill is green. So I don't prefer the monsoons and summers. I prefer from October till mid-April is the best time.
Okay, because it makes sense with regards to the monsoon, because if you have all that green fieldery that's coming through with that rocky granite and rain, it stands out like a sore thumb.
Right, right.
And you want leopard to stand out, of course.
Yes, but again, in monsoons also, you get good, very good images with this rock with the background, with the greens and the leopard between them. Again, in monsoon, at times you get beautiful shots.
Okay, that's fantastic to know. And so let's quickly just refer to our trips that's coming up. So in terms of what you just said, January and February are very good times to go.
Excellent times.
Because I mean, then you have the as you mentioned, you have the leopards that's coming out to bathe in the sun. You have the migratory birds.
I mean, the sunlight is good throughout the day, so anytime you want to photograph, I mean, it's the perfect time.
Well, referring to culture, I mean, that's another aspect that you guys do quite punt a lot in your website. There's a culture aspect with the shepherds in the area. What's the Rabari tribe?
The Rabari tribe.
Can you tell us a little bit more about them? What makes them so unique in a sense? I mean, besides the beautiful red turbans that they have made.
Yeah, so Nico, what I've also done a book known as the Leopards and Shepherds of JAWAI. All the leopards are totally dependent on the shepherd, the Rabari community here for their livestock. Rabari is a community which are basically herdsmen. So every house you will see about 50 to 100 goat, sheep, cow, and all the leopards are dependent on them for their prey. It's a beautiful relationship between the leopard and the shepherd living together, and that too without any conflict. Past 100 years, let me repeat it, past 100 years, we've not had any human leopard conflict in the area.
I mean, that in itself is phenomenal in the sense that they live in this harmony with each other.
Yes.
Is it just, I mean, let's just refer to it. Is it pure respect between man and nature that allows that? Is it
Yes.
the fact that, as you said, the leopards are dependent on the tribe? They probably end up hunting predominantly their cattle and sheep and stuff them as a source of food.
So, Nico, what happens here is all these Rabaris, most of them are believers of Lord Shiva. It's a Hindu god, Shiva. So if you see Shiva, he's either wearing a leopard skin or sitting on a leopard skin. So anytime there is a kill by the leopard, the local community believe it's an offering to Lord Shiva.
Okay.
So, I mean, they'll never create any problem for the leopard.
And so that just brings something to mind for myself in the sense that, as you mentioned, which I mean, 100 years, that's an extremely long time for that these guys lived in harmony with each other. Why, besides the fact that, as you just mentioned, Lord Shiva, there's this misconception in the world of leopards attack happening regularly in India, in other places. Why is that? Just to educate people.
See, leopard attacks happening in different parts of India. You see, most of the places, it's people. It's basically any human-animal conflict. What I believe is there's a big human error in that. So, for example, if you there is one place known as the Sanjay Gandhi National Park in Mumbai, where very frequent leopard attacks are there. So most of the people living around the park, some of them don't have bathrooms in the house. So early morning or late evenings, they would be going out to do bathrooms. That's when the leopard cannot identify whether it's a human or it's an animal. Proper lighting is not being done. So proper lightings need to be done outside the houses. The vegetation needs to be cleared. If the vegetation is not clear for leopard, ambush hunter like leopard, it's very easy to ambush and come closer. So these are all human errors. But as far as JAWAI is considered, we've not had any conflict because there is so much of domestic livestock that leopards have never considered humans as prey.
Well, I mean, what you're saying makes completely sense. And aren't they supposed to implement like a buffering zone? I think they have the buffering zones especially with the tigers in certain areas, where if there's a village next to a national park, then they have those cleared areas that's frequently roamed by, I think, those guys on the top of the elephants.
Yes, those are those buffer zones. Yes, correct.
So do you think that they have to manage those buffer zones a lot better to prohibit
Yes,
something like this from
to
happening?
they need to, especially in national parks, they need to maintain the buffer zones better, because you see in the core area, always the top predator is going to be there in the core area, which is the tiger.
Yeah.
And the buffer zone is where the leopards and other B and C category predators are going to be there. So they need to be kept well, maintained well. So that's where how the conflict is going to come down.
Okay. And then I mean, this is now a question that just popped in my head is in terms of you don't have any tigers in your area. I don't think the terrain is really meant for.
No, we don't have tigers in the area, but the closest to us was, I think, a place close to us, about 65, 70 kilometers. Last tiger was shot there in 72, 1990, 72, as per
Okay.
the government records. So tigers used to always use this as a corridor to move from A place to B place, but never, this is not a tiger habitat.
Okay, yeah, because I mean they're more for the forestry, denser kind of
Yes,
environment.
yes.
Makes sense. I mean, if they have to come into conflict with each other, the tiger is so much stronger than a leopard.
Yeah, leopard would have no chance against the
Um,
tiger.
Unfortunately, but I mean, let's be honest, both are beautiful big cats.
Beautiful big cats.
And speaking about beautiful big cats, I mean that National Geographic documentary that you were part of, the Wildcats of India. Did you specifically only specialize in the leopards part, or were you part of other big cats as well?
Regularly in touch with the different cameramans, speaking to them and guiding them with other big cats also. But my specific task was the leopards.
The leopards. Well, I mean,
The leopards.
I suppose you're seen as a leopard king at this point in time, so it makes complete sense.
Yeah.
Big cats, the most feared members of the animal kingdom, struggling to find space in modern India. As the city expands rapidly into some of our last remaining wild spaces, humans and big cats are being forced to confront one another. But in some pockets, people are learning to live with big cats. But what is the secret behind this coexistence? To find out, I'm embarking on a journey of a lifetime.
This forest is where the natural world meets the historical world.
Getting up close with these incredible predators.
She's literally 5 strides away from me right now.
And meeting the communities and rangers on the front lines.
Mobile technology is playing such a big role in the fight against wildlife trafficking.
To understand what it's really like to have big cats as neighbors.
It's super tense right now.
If we keep the tiger's neighbors happy, the tiger is happy.
This is the story of coexistence, like never seen before.
I'm Malaika and I'm looking for the extraordinary relationship that some communities share with big cats in India.
And then, I mean, besides being in love with videography, you're a passionate photographer as well.
Yes, I am.
Where did this love for photography come from? Was it in your winemaking days still, or
No,
prior to that?
actually, I was always an outdoor person. I went to a boarding in a hill station in Rajasthan known as Mount Abu, which has a lot of wildlife. So there we used to be regularly involved by our teachers with nature, with nature walks, with other wildlife. That's how I always enjoyed wildlife. And once I came to Bera, I started doing amateur photography. And then from photographs, suddenly to video. There was a team by Nat Geo which had come, and they trained me with basics about video. So now I'm mainly into video.
Into video mostly.
Mostly, and I enjoy every bit of it now.
I can only imagine because I mean, video opens up a completely whole new world for photographers as well in terms of still grabs that they're able to do. But I mean, okay, so let's go to a little bit more personal kind of question.
Yeah.
Most photographers have a whole portfolio that they love, but there's always that one photograph or that handful of photographs that stands out specifically. Can you share one of those stories with us, the one special moment in your years that you have done it?
You see, I've got a very good silhouette one of the evenings, I think about 5, 6 years back, I won an award also for that picture. Especially in JAWAI, I always prefer not to take tight shots of the leopard. I prefer a habitat shot where you're in that picture, the habitat is being seen, the animal has been seeing your subject. There is one picture, a silhouette in which there is a leopard and the peacocks are also there. So that's one picture I really enjoy because it's showing that entire habitat. And it's in the low light image. So leopard is a nocturnal animal. The characteristics of the leopard, the peacock sitting there giving alarm calls. So that's one picture that I really enjoy watching.
That's fantastic. And then, so what we'll do is, as part of this, we'll just have a quick run through with regards to some of the images that you sent through, and then show that specific image. I mean, we're looking forward to that part as well. And then
Definitely.
so let's talk a little bit now again about your documentary kind of sides. Now, I mean, I don't know exactly how many years, and would like you to elaborate a little bit on that for us. The documentary specifically is, you've done the wildcats of India, you've done the big cats of National Geographic. Is there anything else on the horizon for you besides, I mean, the move that you spoke about earlier between the leopards that move from JAWAI specifically when they're basically booted up at the alpha? But what else is in the pipeline that if you can share with us?
Basically, right now I'm collecting data bank. I am in talks with a few projects. But the problem after COVID, a lot of things, we had few projects in hand and then COVID came and that's how the problem started. And now again, there are some visa issues going on in India. So once those clear up, the budgets are going to be finalized. And let's see, I have few projects in my pipeline. And these are specifically, again, with the leopards and the local community here.
Okay, well, that's fantastic. And then in terms of, so what we'll do is we'll just put your social media tags, your YouTube channel, so guys can have a look out for it as well. I mean, because
Definitely.
Interesting nature stories are one of those things that just make us look at the world completely different.
Yes, definitely. Definitely.
We at CMP have a specific motto that looking is not the same as seeing. It doesn't mean that if you look at something that you're going to see the true story behind it.
There's a lot of hard work.
Absolutely. But I mean, as you said, you guys have a phenomenal place in the sense that you see stuff that the average guys don't see, especially with the small area that you're in.
Yes, yes. Like I just mentioned that over the years, I've only photographed honey badger once, and now I've got a place where I've put all my camera traps. We are getting regular movements. So let's hope to photograph and film something with honey badger also.
Well, what we can do is you can always come and join us here in Africa, where we can take you to quite a few places that have honey badgers.
Definitely, definitely.
Is that something that's perhaps on your bucket list somewhere in Africa that you want to come and visit, or that you want to go? It doesn't have to be Africa, anywhere specific else in the world.
Africa definitely is on my pipeline. Africa is there. There are a lot of Argentina for jaguars is there. Pantanal for mountain lion is there. I mean, would love to do something with the this thing, clouded leopard again. Something like to work with clouded leopard also. So yes, bucket list is very long.
Well, I think that's the biggest problem that most of us have, right? It's the bucket list, because we don't always get the opportunity to go. It goes from this to that in a short span of time.
Yes.
Oh no, but that's fantastic. Thank you so much, Shatrunjay, for spending this, what's a little bit more than a half an hour with me. I really do appreciate it. I mean,
my pleasure, Nico, and I look forward hosting CNP safaris in the leopard country.
Absolutely. I mean, we're very looking forward to 2023. 2024, we're opening up very soon with regards to doing these marketing materials being put together. Hopefully, we can also shoot an immense amount of stuff while we're there with you. And
definitely. Definitely.
This has been very long in the making, as you know. It's been pre-COVID where we started, then COVID hit. Things have just been kept rolling over. In terms of, I mean, let's just quickly, sorry, before we end, we were speaking about logistics as well with regards to getting to you. I know that you can either fly in from Delhi or Mumbai and then you fly to Udaipur. Is the transfer difficult? Is it an easy transfer?
It's a easy transfer from Delhi and Mumbai. Every day there are about 2-3 flights to Udaipur. And there is Udaipur is 140 kilometers from us. The other airport is Jodhpur. That's about 160 kilometers from us. Both are 3 hours from Bera. So, and there are a lot of morning flights from to Jodhpur from Delhi and Mumbai, and to Udaipur also from Delhi and Mumbai. So by the time you land in the morning around 8:30, you hop into your taxi, you are at the lodge at 1, you rest, you have lunch, you rest for some time, and bang, you go in the evening for safari.
And then you start with your leopard fix already from the first day.
Yes, from the first day.
Well, that's fantastic. Well, again, thank you so much. Really, really appreciate you spending this time with us. I've been looking forward to this one for a long time now. Again, thank you. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Nico. Really appreciate it. My pleasure.
Thanks.
India, a country known more for its people than for its spectacular wildlife.
This is one of the most overpopulated parts of the country.
But if you know where to look, there's wildlife hidden in every nook and cranny.
This looks like ideal Palascan habitat. Wow.
Sandesh Kadur, a National Geographic explorer and wildlife filmmaker, is on a mission to uncover the secretive lives of India's smallest wild cats.
They are fierce. They are fast. And sometimes they are furious.
More than anything, the small wild cats of India are elusive, evasive, and incredibly difficult to find in the wild.
I'll need to use every trick and technique I know to catch these cats on camera. Oh my God, look at that. What do we have there?
But it won't be easy.
Oh, it's going to be a tight squeeze.